This is our last concepts. It's about absolute value equations. So I'm going to kind of talk to you about absolute value, right? You should have learned this in 6th grade and then gone over it again in 7th. Absolute value is the distance a number is from 0. So if I have, let's say, 3 here, 3 is 3 units. I could count back, right? This is 1, 2, 3 units away from 0. So if I said, what is the absolute value of 3? It's a positive 3. But if I look at the other side, a negative 3, isn't a negative 3 also just 1, 2, 3 units? Because I have a negative 2 and a negative 1. So the absolute value of a negative 3 is also 3. Okay, so absolute value is always the distance from 0, and it's always going to be a positive number. All right, so what if I have 3x? Okay, so the absolute value of 3x equals, let's make it 12. Okay, all right, well, what times 3 is equal to 12? 3 times 4 is equal to 12. But remember, if I'm in my absolute value, this number in here could either be a positive or a negative. So couldn't 3 times 4 be equal to 12? But 3, or the absolute value of 3 times 4 is 12, but the absolute value of 3 times a negative 4, this is going to be a negative 12, but when I'm looking at how far away is a negative 12 from 0, it is also going to be a positive number. Okay, so remember that when we are dealing with the absolute value, it could be a negative, but when we take the absolute value, it becomes a positive. So let's look at this. All right, right here, these are my absolute value symbols right here, okay? So we're going to treat this inside, this absolute value, like one big variable to start. So that means I need to get this entire thing isolated to start, okay? Like I want to isolate my absolute value and make it equal to something, but this 7 is being multiplied, right? So I'm going to circle this whole thing. This is me saying this is kind of like an x. I don't know what's inside of there, but I have 7x, and I need to get this alone and then remove the 7. So I'm going to just solve this like any other equation, all right? So let's see. I need to add 6, okay, because this will end up zeroing out, and I will end up having 7 times the absolute value of 4s plus 8, and then this is 112, okay? And now to get, again, I want all of this isolated on one side. So now to get this alone, I've got to divide by 7. So 112 divided by 7 equals 16. So now on this side, I have 16, and this cancels out to 1. So I have 4s plus 8 equals 16. And it's the absolute value, right? But now that I've got it alone, I can solve this to find out what s is. The way I do it, though, remember over here, I need both a negative and a positive answer, right? So I'm setting up 2 equations. I'm going to set up an equation where I have 4s plus 8 equals a positive 16. And I'm going to set up another equation where I have 4s plus 8 is equal to a negative 16. So this is going to give me both outcomes. All right, so now let's just solve this. We're going to subtract 8. That gives me 8 on this side. And then I've got to divide by 4. So I divide that by 4. And those cancel out. This zeroes out. So I'm left with S on this side. 8 divided by 4 is just 2. But over here, if I subtract 8 from a negative 16, now I have a negative 24. Hang on. A negative 24. And then I divide that by 4. Okay. So if I divide a negative 24 by 4, that gives me S could be equal to a negative 6. So my answer over here is going to be S is 2. Oh my word, I'm so sorry. This is not writing out. Okay, so S is equal to 2 and S is equal to a negative 6. And I could go plug that in and check it to make sure that both of those would be correct. That's how you solve absolute value equations.